Number 10. Crabzilla. I wanted to start by talking about what appears to be an enormous crustacean lurking in the water near the seaside town of Whitstable in England. This giant crab appears to be relaxing at the harbour, and as you can see by the Google Earth evidence, the thing is massive. Judging by the image from Google Earth, this ridiculously huge crab must be about 50 feet wide. It's over twice the size of some of the nearby fishing boats. And people may doubt the authenticity of Google Earth's photos, but there is no mistaking this for an enormous crab. It's hard to imagine that it could be anything else. Nicknamed Crabzilla, this crustacean looks exactly like a species of crab commonly found in the waters around the British Isles. And while an ordinary crab grows to be about 5 inches, this one is definitely 50 feet. But what is it doing there? Could it be a mutated crab that grew to be 50 times its normal size? According to the Daily Express, one eyewitness claims that he even spotted the giant creature close to the shore between 2013 and 2014. Supposedly, the creature has black eyes on creepy eye stalks and massive claws that could crush a man in one strike. But of course, this is just speculation. Number 9. The Kraken. There has been a very heated debate over an image captured on Google Earth near Antarctica. The image appears to be of a sea monster very much like the legendary Kraken that sailors feared hundreds of years ago. However, many people are saying it's just a rock. In fact, it even has a name, Sail Rock, and the coordinates are quite easy to locate. It's just north of the Antarctica mainland and slightly south from Deception Island. That's a pretty appropriate name considering the circumstances. But despite most scientific claims that it is just a rock, it still looks like a mythical beast. And the truth is that maybe we'll never know if it truly is the rock that everybody says it is, or if it was a mythical monster of legend thrashing in the ocean. Now, I don't want anyone to sail down there to check it out and be disappointed, so keep in mind that it is almost certainly not alive, and the ocean near Antarctica is cold and dangerous. But the history of this rock is strange. The alleged Sail Rock actually got its name because of 19th century travellers, who also mistook the rock for something that it wasn't. These old explorers thought that the rock was actually a ship, but no, it was just a rock. And now the same thing is happening in modern times. Rock, ship, or monster? You be the judge. Number 8. Loch Ness Monster. It would appear that the extremely elusive Loch Ness Monster, the horrible beast hiding in the Loch Ness in northern Scotland for hundreds of years, has been discovered by an American woman from Bellevue, Ohio. Pretty strange, but this lady used Google Earth after being laid off of work to capture the monster once and for all. This is pretty incredible. Believe what you want about the image she's uncovered from using the street view of Google Earth, but Lisa Stout got closer to discovering the Loch Ness Monster by sitting at her house on the other side of the world than any other researchers before. How did she do it? According to a report on Mirror.com, she simply looked through Google Earth images until she found it. This was back in 2018, and there still has not been verifiable proof of the beast's existence since then. However, this Google Earth sighting was indeed accepted as the 9th official Nessie sighting of 2018 by the official Loch Ness Monster Sightings Register. Did you know that there was an official register of those? I sure didn't. The American woman located the beast near the Loch Ness Highland Resort in Fort Augustus, and it looks shockingly like other images found of the monster. You can examine the image and see a skinny neck, a sort of hump, and the rest is submerged underwater. Could this really be the elusive Loch Ness Monster? Who knows? Number 7. Giant sea worm. One of the most bizarre Google Earth sightings happened off the coast of New Zealand. This was back in 2014, and the monster in question was spotted at Oak Bay, in the far north of the country. There's very obviously a wake in the photograph that could not have been made by any boat because there are none in the area. However, there is what appears to be a giant worm. The creature looks like a very long snake slithering beneath the water. It is definitely not a shark, and there is no possible way it could be a whale. Judging by the photo, it appears to be some kind of underwater serpent. There are no logical explanations for what this thing is exactly. This particular area of the bay is home to lots of undergrowth and plant life, and so there is speculation that something large and strange could be living at the bottom of the bay that no one has ever seen. According to the engineer who actually spotted this anomaly on Google Earth, they believe that whatever caused the wake in the photograph would be at least 45 feet long. Although from here, I can tell you, it looks much larger. It could be that we are only seeing the slight shadow of a much larger beast, and that its head was what made the wake. Is this a giant sea worm? And now for number 6, but first, be sure to subscribe and post in the comments what you think it is. Number 6. Dinosaur in Texas. In Dallas, Texas, somebody spotted a marauding dinosaur on the Google Maps Street View. This is a pretty disturbing discovery, and it's a little strange that nobody is talking about it. It seems like it should be national news. There is very clearly in this Google Earth image a Tyrannosaurus Rex simply strolling along the sidewalk. It looks to be about 7 or 8 feet tall, and it actually looks to be heading directly into somebody's shop. There do not appear to be any people in the image, so it's safe to say nobody was hurt. But who knows what could happen if this terrifying dinosaur isn't captured soon? Of course, this one is just a joke. The image is of a Tyrannosaurus Rex and it was found on Google Maps, but it's actually a model of a dinosaur. I'm just having a little fun, but I don't think there are any prehistoric monsters roaming around in Dallas. As cool as that would be, science hasn't reached to the point yet where Jurassic Park goes from fiction to reality. Still, this would make a fun excursion on your next trip to Texas, trying to find this lifelike statue. Number 5. Canadian Bigfoot. There is some serious debate over whether the legendary Bigfoot monster is indeed living in the Canadian wilderness, or if Bigfoot is actually American. However, we may have the answer to this age-old question. A recent sighting on Google Earth put Bigfoot, also known as the Sasquatch, running alongside the Trans-Canada Highway in the province of British Columbia. For anyone who doesn't know, the Trans-Canada Highway is the ultra-long road that crosses Canada, and it is no surprise that Bigfoot is clearly seen in an image from Google Earth just wandering along the side of the road. While this kind of exposure is normally reserved for bears, moose, and other large hairy beasts, it seems that Google has finally caught an image of Bigfoot himself strolling down the highway. Some people claim it's not actually Bigfoot, but it's actually just a tree stump. Boring. But probably it's more likely, to be honest. The truth is that it's very difficult for me to know for sure. And so, that leaves it up to you guys to decide if this picture really is a secret snapshot of Bigfoot or not. Number 4. Termite Hives. While termites might not be as scary as sea monsters or Sasquatches, they're still creatures. A massive discovery was recently made on Google Earth in which a massive deposit of termite mounds believed to be roughly 4,000 years old was sighted in a remote part of a Brazilian rainforest. According to an article by USA Today, for the termites to make these millions of mounds, they would have needed to excavate enough soil to build over 4,000 Great Pyramids of Giza. That is a shocking amount of dirt. It is definitely more than you or I could shovel in a lifetime. But termites are tiny and built these huge structures themselves. And even though most of these mounds are completely empty, some of them are still being actively used by termites. According to the researchers, this bizarre discovery is actually the world's most extensive bioengineering effort taken by a single species, even in comparison to other busy insects like ants. The mounds are shaped like cones and some of them are up to 10 feet tall and 30 feet wide. Some people claim the termite mounds can be seen from space, but that is very unlikely. However, they can indeed be seen from Google Earth, so take a look, it's really quite incredible. And there is no arguing its authenticity. This is entirely real and verifiable. Take a trip down there if you don't believe me. Number 3. Megalodon. The only thing more terrifying than a shark is a megalodon, which are like super sharks in terms of size and strength. According to most scientists, megalodons have most likely been extinct for an extremely long time. However, a recent image on Google Maps might suggest otherwise. These massive prehistoric animals were kings of the ocean for about 23 million years and have recently found their place in pop culture and even film, like in the movie The Meg. Keep in mind, these animals went extinct long before human beings were roaming around the planet, and so it is no surprise that everyone thinks the megalodon truly is gone. However, a Google Earth image from the Cat Island in the Bahamas appears to show a giant shark-like creature swimming off the coast. Could it be a megalodon or someone's cruel attempt at a joke? There's a lot of speculation that this image has actually been doctored, but whether or not it's true is tough to say with certainty. As with all the crazy creatures discovered on Google Earth, nobody truly knows the answer. Number 2. Another Loch Ness Monster. Here we have a second sighting of the legendary Loch Ness Monster on Google Earth. This one dates back over a decade to 2009. In the image, we can clearly see some kind of foreign object floating through the water of the loch. And while a lot of people are claiming this is the real Loch Ness Monster, it looks to me more like a drowned alien. There isn't much about it that looks like a serpent, but of course, there are a lot of people that call this a real, genuine sighting. Believe it or not, it's actually good that there have been sightings like this on Google Earth, as recent physical sightings have dropped off. Believe it or not, there are actually fears spreading through the community of Loch Ness Monster enthusiasts that climate change might have killed their namesake monster. So, what do you think? Did global warming wipe out Nessie? And if so, what was this bizarre white shape floating through Loch Ness in Scotland back in 2009? Post your thoughts in the comments below and hit subscribe for more fun videos like this one. And now for the number 1 crazy creature spotted on Google Earth. Number 1. Space aliens. The strangest creature that was allegedly discovered on Google Earth is an alien, or aliens. This is definitely the most impressive conspiracy theory revolving around Google Earth creature sightings, as many people have dismissed this sighting as a chunk of ice rather than real aliens. However, there is no denying the photo from Google Earth really does look like a crashed alien vessel. The image comes from a small island near Antarctica. and you can very clearly see a trail through the ice where it looks like something skimmed across the surface then crashed and got buried beneath the snow. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, it definitely appears to be some sort of crashed vessel to the untrained eye. Now, is this an alien crash? I don't know. Is it proof that alien creatures are roaming around on Earth? It doesn't prove anything, but it does raise a lot of questions. According to Live Science, the image is nothing more than some disturbed ice, but who really knows? All I can say for sure is the truth is out there, somewhere. Number 10. Turtle. Baby turtles are some of the cutest newborn animals in the world. Just watching a baby turtle struggle out of its shell and into the sand is an emotional roller coaster. Everything from the baby's first awkward steps to its dangerous flights from its nest into the sea is exhilarating. Baby turtles have to go through a gauntlet of dangers just to make it to the water alive. Birds, crabs, raccoons, and even fish are all out to get the newborn turtle from the second it crawls out of the egg. It's a very dangerous first few hours for the tiny turtle, and it doesn't get much easier. Talk about a baptism by fire. When it comes to sea turtles, only an estimated 1 in 1,000 hatchlings ever survives to adulthood. That's a vanishingly low chance, and sadly, almost every baby turtle you see in the wild won't make it to adulthood. This is in part due to predators and in part due to human encroachment on turtle territory, with sea turtles needing to cross highways in some cases just to find the ocean. What do these adorable shelled reptiles eat, I wonder? The turtle hatchlings will eat mollusks, seaweed, jellyfish, and even fish eggs. In order for a sea turtle to find its way from the nest to the ocean, hatchlings instinctively use the natural light of the horizon, which is always over the ocean. This allows them to seek the waves safely. However, other lights like from cars, campfires, and buildings can confuse newborn turtles and cause them to stray into danger. They really weren't trained to live with humans in their presence. Millions of years of natural selection were upended in just a few thousand by the changes we brought to the world. What do you think? Should humans put more effort towards protecting baby sea turtles? Even without any human intervention, most turtles end up being food for larger animals. Should we create large protected habitats for them to be safer? Let me know what you think in the comments section below. If you haven't already, subscribe to Epic Wildlife to catch more awesome videos about animals. You won't want to miss a single one. Number 9. Panda. Panda cubs are some of the most needy and vulnerable newborns on the planet next to human babies. Panda cubs are born without fur and are completely blind. And just like humans, the limbs of a newborn panda are so frail and weak that they can't even stand on their own 2 legs. And again, much like humans, baby pandas rely on their mothers for months after birth, needing the mother's warmth, delicious milk, and protection. However, baby pandas can and do get accidentally crushed by their giant mothers. How sad is that? What many people don't know is that in the wild, just about half of all pandas give birth to twins. But here is where things get a little crazy. Panda mothers will only raise 1 cub at a time. So even if she gives birth to twins, she will only take care of one of the babies, abandoning the other to its inevitable fate. How sad is that? The mother just chooses one of her babies to nurture. In fact, looking at them from an evolutionary point of view, it is a little strange that any pandas survive at all. Baby pandas are super fragile, they get sick very easily, and they have a very poor survival rate. Luckily, in breeding centres, about 90% of all panda bears will survive into adulthood. It takes the baby panda about 2 years until it has grown large enough that it can leave its mother and fend for itself. Under human protection and care, more pandas are living well, even if they are living mostly in zoos and nature reserves. Number 8. Giraffe. There is nothing quite as awkwardly adorable as a newborn giraffe. These are definitely the cutest things you will see on any African safari and will probably be the highlight of your trip, even over lions and elephants. These awkward, long-necked horses are incredibly cute immediately after birth. Giraffe mothers give birth standing up. The baby giraffe will drop headfirst onto the ground from a height of just about 6 feet or 2 meters, which would be enough to do some serious damage to a baby human. Because of the baby's long drop to earth, the umbilical cord is severed naturally. This helps the baby giraffe get up and start living its life. Baby giraffes can stand up and start walking within 30 minutes after they've been born. That's a lot faster than humans, which can generally take a full year or more before they can really start walking. These are the most remarkable newborn babies in the world. Giraffe babies also have one of the longest gestation periods in the animal world. From conception to birth, human beings take 9 months, while giraffes take 15 months. That's almost double the time most animals are pregnant. Rhinos share a similar gestation period of between 15 and 16 months, while elephants hold the record with 22 months of pregnancy. That's a long time to be pregnant. But of course, the bigger the animal, the longer it takes to develop, most of the time. Number 7. Koala. Koala bear babies are the best. From the moment of conception, it only takes 35 days before a baby koala is born. Newborn koalas are actually known as joeys. They are extremely small, only about 1 inch or 2 centimeters long, and weigh less than 1 gram. In fact, a baby koala bear looks like nothing more than a pink jelly bean. It is totally hairless, completely blind, and it doesn't even have any ears. However, the baby koala does have a very good sense of smell and touch, as well as strong forelimbs and claws. Koalas are marsupials, like kangaroos and wallabies. Marsupials are a weird type of animal. They give birth to babies that are barely even alive, but then the tiny infants ride around in a pouch for several months, almost like a second pregnancy, while they develop. For the first 6 to 7 months of a joey's life, it remains entirely in its mother's pouch, suckling milk like a little baby. During this time, the baby koala bear gradually develops eyes, ears, and fur. It grows from the small pink jelly bean into a little bear baby. Then, after about 22 to 30 weeks, the koala bear can be seen riding around on its mother's back, no longer hiding in the safety of its pouch. Number 6. Deer. It's hard to find anything more adorable than a newborn baby deer. Newborn deer are docile, cute, and speckled with little white dots. However, anyone who lives in an area populated by lots of deer should keep a few things in mind before ever approaching a baby fawn that they might find lying in the grass in the wilderness. This is a very common occurrence, where people stumble upon a newborn deer lying in the grass apparently helpless and stranded. Many people believe the best thing to do when they find a newborn deer is to take it away and try to save it. However, you are actually dooming the deer for life. According to professional wildlife rehabilitators, mother deer usually leave their babies for around 12 hours a day to go and forage for food. This is because baby fawns are too weak to keep up with their mothers, and so they just kind of lounge in a chunk of grass until she comes back. However, people sometimes come along and scoop the deer up to take it home. By doing this, people actually put the newborn baby in grave danger. Its mother will be gone and it won't survive without her. This is a huge problem that wildlife rescuers are trying to teach people not to do. If you see a baby deer in the grass, just leave it alone and don't touch it. Its mother will probably be back very soon. Number 5. Chameleon. Baby chameleons are absolutely out of this world. These newborn reptiles are incredibly fragile, super clumsy, and more than comical. Looking at their googly eyes and tiny bodies, it really makes you appreciate how precarious life really is. As soon as a baby chameleon is hatched from its egg, it begins walking. This is because predators are everywhere in the wild and their instincts immediately tell them to get moving. What's really interesting about little baby chameleons is that their mother won't care for them. Their mother lays eggs in the dirt, covers them up with some more dirt, then walks away and never looks back. This protects them from predators while she moves on to live the rest of her life. That may sound a little sad, but they know everything they need to know to survive from instinct, so it's not that bad. Baby chameleons are forced to crawl their way to the surface after hatching. When it comes to baby chameleons born in captivity, it's very important that they are not left in a cage with adult chameleons, as these reptiles are savage cannibals and will eat the young. In the wild, chameleon newborns crack out of their eggs and begin scurrying upwards. They need the protection afforded to them by trees and bushes, and after a few days they begin to hunt small prey like fruit flies and pinhead crickets. Number 4. Crocodile. For such terrifying monsters, crocodile mothers are actually very good parents. They are gentle even though they are fearsome, and they really do provide quality assistance for their little newborn crocodile babies. When you look at a baby crocodile, there is absolutely nothing dangerous that comes to mind. Baby crocodiles don't look anything like the terrifying beasts that their parents are. For starters, newborn crocs are tiny, no more than about 7 to 10 inches long, or 15 to 25 centimeters. They are typically born in huge clutches of eggs, having anywhere between 10 and 60 siblings. The most adorable thing about baby crocodiles is when they're transported inside their mother's mouth. When the crocodile babies are ready to hatch, they begin to chirp. The mother crocodile picks up on it, swims over, digs up the nest, and then carries her little newborn crocs in her mouth to the water where she can look over them. And don't worry, the baby crocodiles are perfectly safe inside their mother's mouth. Her instincts prevent her from closing her jaws and accidentally having her own babies for breakfast. Wild, right? The animal kingdom is just full of weird facts like that because life on Earth is just so diverse. Number 3. Hippo. Looking at a newborn hippopotamus, the first thing that comes to mind is a child's bath toy. Baby hippopotamuses don't even look real. They are pudgy, have short and stubby legs, they have an almost coy smile, and their little tiny ears are absolutely adorable. They are basically small and squished versions of their parents. But boy are they fat. A baby hippopotamus will weigh between 50 and 100 pounds as a newborn. That's between 20 to 40 kilograms. They need to nurse from their mothers for about 8 months. But don't worry, soon enough the pudgy baby hippo will grow into a 3,000 pound or 1,400 kilogram monster, ready to trample humans and bully crocodiles. Even though the baby hippo will spend a lot of its time underwater, it can't actually swim. A lot of people don't know that even adult hippopotamuses have a hard time swimming. They actually float or walk along shallow areas where they don't have to try to swim. This is why it's so funny to watch baby hippos flounder about in the water when they are newly born. And while mother hippopotamuses will protect their babies, grown males will try to eat them. Male hippos don't typically attack when on land, but they will often go after the baby hippos underwater and try to eliminate them. The animal kingdom is definitely a ruthless and violent place. Why do you think so many of these animals eat members of their own species? It just seems weird, but nature has a way of ordering these things. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Number 2. Hedgehog. Sidestepping away from fat newborn hippos, here are some wildly adorable baby hedgehogs. These are some of the strangest looking newborns you can find. They look like tiny red tadpoles when they're born, and even after about 10 hours they still just look like slimy pink grubs. However, after about a day, you really start to see their white, pointy Sonic the Hedgehog spikes sticking out of their backs. And by day 7, they start to look like miniature albino hedgehogs with no eyes and pink faces. Hedgehog babies are basically blobs. They don't do anything, and they look like shrunken tongues. They mostly sit around and peep, hiding in their nest and waiting for their face to stop being so wrinkly. The baby hedgehogs will grow and grow until their quills finally begin to harden and they start to get darker and less tongue-like. These are definitely some of the most interesting newborns to watch grow up in your cage at home. Number 1. Dolphin. Baby dolphins don't even look real. They look like grey salamanders without any arms or legs. Still, they are fascinating animals. Unlike most wild creatures, dolphins only give birth to a single baby. They even do it at roughly the same frequency as humans, giving birth to one baby every 3 years or so depending on the individual dolphin. Another unusual trait dolphins share with humans is that the babies also have belly buttons. Not many animals have these, but dolphins and humans share them. When the newborn dolphin is born, the umbilical cord breaks away and the dolphin is left with a belly button. Dolphin newborns are one of the few animals who drink their mother's milk for up to 3 years. The milk from a mother dolphin is even richer than human milk or cow milk. This is what helps dolphin babies grow quickly. They begin hunting at about 4 months old but continue drinking mother's milk for 3 years. Dolphin babies even stay with their mothers until around 10 years old, which is quite a bit longer than most animals. Dolphins are smart. They know that mum knows best. Number 10. Dolphins in Egypt. In the Red Sea Coral Lagoon off of the coast of Egypt, you can swim with wild dolphins. While you can swim with dolphins in many parts of the world, including Hawaii, Florida, Georgia, and Australia, this place is also a famous place to do it. Although when swimming with wild dolphins, it is always good to go with someone who understands their behavior. There are different kinds of dolphin, but people usually mean bottlenose dolphins, famous for their friendly disposition and smiling faces. Sharm el-Sheikh is one of the best destinations in the world if you want to swim with dolphins. It is a large resort city especially popular with European tourists, and of course scuba divers. Here you can visit the Dolphinarium of Sharm el-Sheikh, which offers a tank-based, controlled swim with dolphins program. The other is to encounter wild dolphins in the open ocean while snorkeling or diving. When an encounter goes well, the dolphins are very curious and will get up close and personal to check you out. They apparently hate bubbles from scuba gear, as well as loud splashing and yelling, so it's better to get into the water as quietly as possible and snorkel or stay near the surface. Also, you aren't supposed to touch them no matter how much you might want to give it a big hug. They might like hanging out now and then, but they still enjoy their space. If you annoy them, they will just leave. Dolphins are pretty lovable creatures, but you shouldn't underestimate them either. They can get to between 10 and 14 feet long, weighing around 1,100 pounds. So if you want to swim with them, make sure that you're prepared, because running into one can be an intimidating experience, as they will sometimes get nose to nose with you. But it's most likely that they are just curious about you. If you are not ready to dive with them, then maybe you should try the Dolphinarium first, which is a controlled tank environment where you can also watch an impressive stunt show. But if you think you are ready to dive in the middle of a wild dolphin habitat, pack your dive gear and go for a swim. Quietly. Quietly. Number 9. Leopard sharks in La Jolla. Off the shores of La Jolla, California, you can swim with the sharks. Leopard sharks, that is. You might think that such an idea is verifiably nuts. Who in their right mind would be willing to swim with some of the scariest, deadliest creatures on the planet? I would. Plus, leopard sharks are actually pretty tame and harmless to people. In 1955, there was a record of a leopard shark getting up close and personal with the diver due to a nosebleed. But never fear, this diver returned to land without any injuries, maybe just a little scared. These sharks are easily recognised by their dark brown spots that resemble a leopard. If you come to La Jolla during the warm summer months, you'll find that a lot of leopard sharks have assembled in the area for mating season. They generally hang around from June to October. You're almost certain to come into contact with some of them, even though they can be a little skittish. But that's pretty much all you have to worry about. So, if you want to tell everyone you've swum with sharks before, you should take a trip to La Jolla. It has also been recognised as one of the top 10 places in the world for snorkeling, so it is definitely worth the trip regardless. Have you swum, or would you ever swim with a shark? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Number 8. Sperm whales in Dominica. In the Caribbean Sea, right off the shore of the island country of Dominica, you can swim with humongous sperm whales. These are some of the biggest whales in the world. They've been recorded as reaching lengths up to 59 feet, and the biggest ones tip the scales at 45 tons. They're also the animal with the biggest brain in the world. They are the largest toothed whale and the largest toothed predator in the world. And if you're feeling adventurous, you can see these animals for yourself on an incredible scuba journey. Dominica is one of the few places on Earth where there is a well-established population of sperm whales just offshore, and the only one where they remain year-round. Oftentimes, you can even see them from the island itself. Around the island, there are large bays where around 300 whales come to feed. The rules are to never get in the way of a mother and her calf, and swim along with the pod, not towards it. If you are lucky, one will come and check you out. Your best bet is to travel to Dominica from November to March because that's when you'll have the best chance of seeing one. After that, there are a few companies that will take you out into the ocean where you can enjoy a swim with them. This activity is highly regulated, and licenses for up to 6 people cost $3,000 per day, or almost $9,000 for 7 days, with only 10 granted every year. This is to protect the whales in their habitat, as too much activity might scare the whales away. Number 7. Penguins in South Africa. A mere 40-mile drive from Cape Town, South Africa, you can hang out and swim with penguins. You might have thought that the only way you'd ever get to see a penguin was on an Arctic expedition, but on Boulder Beach, you can experience what you thought was impossible. Boulder Beach is in the Table Mountain National Park, which contains many breathtaking sights, but it is most known for being one of the small numbers of places that you can come face-to-face with penguins. The group of penguins is protected by park guidelines, so you'll need to pay to enter. They are, without a doubt, adorable, but that doesn't mean that they're entirely friendly. In fact, park officials suggest that you should keep a little distance and try not to feed them for your safety and theirs. They have a sharp beak and they won't hesitate to use it if they feel threatened. The endangered birds are native to South Africa and Namibia, and the penguins roam freely. In the winter, you might even catch a glimpse of humpback whales and southern right whales. Fun fact, the colony of penguins at Boulder Beach Colony was started by just a single breeding pair. Other African penguins started coming and this site grew. If that's too far away, you can also swim with the penguins in Tanganyika Park in Kansas, which is one of the few places in the US that will let you swim in a pool with them. Number 6. Sea turtles in Akumal. In Akumal, Mexico, you can swim with a group of gigantic, slow-moving sea turtles. Akumal is well known as a snorkeling haven, and Akumal is Maya for Place of the Turtle. The bay where you will go swimming with the turtles is surrounded by a big reef, so the area is much calmer. The calm waters help to keep the area clear, and you can get quite close to the turtles. People who have gone say that seeing the turtles is really amazing, watching them as they come up for air, projecting grace and strength. When you swim with the turtles in Akumal, you're most likely going to spot loggerhead and green sea turtles. Loggerheads can get big, around 3.5 feet in length, or 1.1 meters, and weigh up to 375 pounds, that's 170 kilograms. Green sea turtles are one of the largest sea turtles, measuring up to 5 feet long and weighing up to 700 pounds, or 318 kilograms. Unlike most sea turtles, green turtles are herbivorous, feeding on seagrass and algae. If you have your snorkel gear, then you can swim with them entirely for free once you arrive. Otherwise, just rent some scuba gear and you're bound to catch sight of a turtle whenever you're far enough out into the water. So just dive down and enjoy what nature has to offer. Number 5. Seals in Land's End. If you're interested in a spirited excursion with some fun-loving animals, then swimming with the seals in Land's End, UK is probably the place for you. Seals are lovely creatures, and there are many different kinds of them. They can grow up to 20 feet or 6 meters long and weigh up to around 4.5 tons. But don't worry, you're not part of their diet. Instead, they're more likely to see you as a playmate if you decide to swim in their waters. They've been known to hang around those whose company they enjoy. They aren't very shy about touching you either. They'll come up to you and gnaw on your scuba flippers or even touch your nose with theirs. But be careful, that doesn't mean you should necessarily touch them. You can visit them for yourself off the coast of Cornwall at an area known as Land's End all year round, although your best bet is to arrive somewhere between May and October. There are other places to swim with seals around the world, but Cornwall is notable for the clarity of its water, so you'll be able to see that they're as excited to see you as you are to see them. How about you? Have you had a chance to see these friendly seals? Let me know in the comments below. Number 4. Jellyfish in Palau. On the outskirts of the island country of Palau, you can swim with thousands of jellyfish. Locals refer to the lake where they are located as Onjimel de Catau, Jellyfish Lake, or just Jellyfish Lake. There are two kinds of species of jellyfish that live there, golden jellyfish and moon jellyfish, named for their distinctive coloration schemes. How exactly did so many jellyfish arrive in this lake? Well, scientists think that around 8 million of them were trapped there when the Ice Age ended and continued to evolve. Inside of the lake, there are hundreds of thousands of jellyfish. You can be surrounded by them. Regrettably, there's no scuba diving allowed because the bottom of the lake is very sulfuric, but you can still swim with them to your heart's content, following them as they amble from one side of the lake to the next. And there's absolutely no reason to be scared of these guys, they don't even sting. The lake was closed to the public for a few years when jellyfish numbers started to dwindle due to an extreme drought, although the good news is that officials believe they have made a full recovery. Number 3. Manta rays in the Great Barrier Reef. If you ever get to visit Australia's Great Barrier Reef, make sure to look into a dive with the manta rays. It's bound to be one of the most memorable experiences you can ever have. The reef itself is one of the world's most magnificent natural wonders. It's a coral reef made up of 2,900 tiny reefs that has over 150 miles worth of swimming territory. Along the way, there are tons of underwater flora and fauna to explore. Corals, turtles, fish, you name it. And of course, manta rays. Although the manta rays that live in the Great Barrier Reef can be up to 22 feet long, the largest ones in the world have grown to around 29 feet long. That's over 9 meters. You can see these for yourself by venturing to Lady Elliot Island in May and June, which is Australia's winter. People estimate that during these months you'll be able to swim with around 100 manta rays, which have travelled 300 miles to reach their destination. While you're there, you're sure to see all of the other amazing wildlife that congregates at the reef. And now for number 2, but first, have you ever visited the Great Barrier Reef? Let me know in the comments below. Number 2. Manatees in Crystal River. In Homosassa, Florida, the local Crystal River is home to the largest population of manatees in the world during the winter. In fact, it's the only US location where you can swim with the manatees yourself. Due to recent conservation efforts, manatees have become less endangered over the years. That's good news because they're incredible and friendly creatures. They can weigh up to 1,300 pounds. That's 590 kilograms, and grow up to 13 feet long, so swimming up close to one of them would surely astound. Given the large population that congregates in the river during the winter months, if you do decide to dive, chances are that you'll be able to see them up close and personal. Once again, it's good to go with professionals that understand manatee behaviour. Before the dive, you'll be taught how to interact with the manatees to not scare them away. Local tour guides refer to this as manatee manners. And even though wintertime might not sound like a great idea to get into the water, it's pretty warm and clear, so you're guaranteed to have an excellent viewing experience. Number 1. Whale sharks in Belize. In southern Belize, you can swim with whale sharks, the biggest fish in the sea. That might seem like an intimidating prospect, given how big whale sharks can get. Oftentimes, they can grow to be upwards of 40 feet long as a school bus, and weigh up to an astounding 20 or more tons. That might make you think that if you were to swim in their territory, it wouldn't end well for you. However, as it turns out, they're extremely docile and majestic creatures, and swimming with them must actually be quite a peaceful and incredible experience. Between March and June, whale sharks pass through a protected marine area in Belize. This coincides with the spawning season of snapper and grouper, and whale sharks love their eggs. You can book a tour that will take you about 26 miles off the coast to Gladden Spit. Like with many tours though, you aren't guaranteed to see a whale shark. If you do manage to swim with one, it will be a memory you'll cherish for a lifetime. Just be careful not to accidentally get hit by their tail. Thanks for watching. What animal would you most like to swim with and why? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time!